Good morning, everybody. Yesterday was a busy day. One of my favorite things about yesterday was the fact that Donald Trump did not dominate the news. Nope, Cory Booker dominated the news. But there were a couple of other things that happened on yesterday. Let's talk about them real quickly, shall we? First, I want to remind you that a few days ago, Louisiana came through and rejected 4 constitutional amendments. They did their doggone thing. They started us off with all of this good energy. But there was another election taking place that had us all sitting on pins and needles, and that was the Supreme Court race that took place out in Wisconsin. Remember, Elon Musk paid millions of dollars to try to get his candidate into office, the Republican candidate. He failed. Susan Crawford, she won the seat. And yeah, Elon Musk is out $25-30 million, and he's got egg all over his face. I mean, I heard it when he had his little rally out there in Wisconsin, and the people on the outside were chanting that they were not for sale. Their votes were not for sale. And they meant that shit. The 2 districts down in Florida, yeah, they did exactly what we expected them to do. They put the Republican into office. Yeah, I don't know why they are allergic to trying to save their Social Security and their Medicare. And of course, the person that is dominating the news cycle all day yesterday and heading into this morning is Senator Cory Booker. Let me just say this. I had no idea. I was tuned into him off and on until about 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock on yesterday, I realized that this man, after months of all of us screaming that they need to do something, this man is actually doing something. And so about that time, when the realization hit me, I stayed tuned in to Cory Booker and his speech on the Senate floor. About 4, maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock yesterday, I said, I'm going to broadcast this live. So I broadcasted it live over on my YouTube channel while I was working. And I would chat with the people in the comment section while I was listening, while I was working. For months, we have been asking them to do something. And Cory Booker did something. He got into some good trouble. The speech started out at 7 p.m. the night before. And it hit me about 4:30, 5 o'clock. I said, this man is going to try to break Strom Thurmond's record. And he's going to do it using an opportunity and the tools that were available to him. Because remember, he's in the minority. He has no real power. The Democrats have no real power. And so what opportunity did he use? He used his opportunity to make a speech on the Senate floor. He used his voice, he used his body, he used his time to amplify the horrors of this administration, of Donald Trump and all of his sycophants, the Republican Party. He used all of the time that he stayed on the Senate floor to publicly criticize Donald Trump's policies. In the process, he educated millions. I think the number is up to 355 million people were watching him on TikTok. There were millions more watching him on several other outlets over on the YT. He educated. He inspired throughout his speech. He shared stories from his constituents. He shared their stories. He shared their voices, Democrats and Republicans, because once you become an elected official, you no longer just represent your party. You represent your constituents from whatever party that they are a part of. So he represented members from the Green Party, from the Independent, from Republicans, Tea Parties, MAGA, Democrats, Republicans. He didn't just represent Democrats as he stood on that Senate floor. He gave a history lesson into Strom Thurmond, the civil rights era, and what Strom Thurmond stood for. Yeah, the last person who did a filibustering speech like that was Strom Thurmond. And he used his time to advocate against civil rights. Cory Booker gave a history lesson on yesterday. He gave a history lesson on John Lewis. John Lewis, the civil rights, what John Lewis stood for. And he did all of that while breaking a record. Yeah. And for all of you that are trying to criticize Cory Booker, saying what he did was performative, please have a seat. Have a seat. You are not equipped to be a part of this conversation. And I believe that the energy Senator Cory Booker generated while he was speaking on the Senate floor, I believe that energy traveled over to the House and thoroughly squashed what it was that they had going on over there. Yeah, all of that energy coming from Senator Cory Booker and his speech traveled over to the House side. Yeah, the House was voting on a bill that Mike Johnson brought forth to block remote voting for new parents in the House. Yeah, it failed. It failed. Not only did it fall, but 9 Republicans, I believe the number is 9, y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, 9 Republicans crossed over to the Democrat side to vote against Mike Johnson's bill. He got so mad about that, he canceled all of the rest of the votes that were planned to take place in the House this week. He said, y'all go home. Yeah. Y'all go home. There won't be any votes happening this week. Shout out to Cory Booker for giving his voice, his body, his time to be a voice for not only his constituents, but for all Americans who are fearful, who are terrified about what more do we have to endure with this Trump presidency. Again, if you see a problem with what he did, have a seat. You are not equipped to be a part of this conversation.